Hi-ho, folks, and welcome back to the adventures of Turwinkle, the Gnome Mage. Well, hi, Turwinkle.
Hello.
Are you all set for today?
Affirmative.
Well, great, because today what we've done is we've gone ahead and talked to a bunch of RP guild leaders out there, and we've asked them several questions about what they've enjoyed and maybe what they've not enjoyed about leading an RP guild. And so without further ado, let us go ahead and meet the folks that are leading some RP guilds out there. So let's take a look and see who we've met today.
Hi, I'm Banshee. I am the Spy Mistress, i.e. GM of the Undercity Nexus, a Forsaken RP Guild.
Hi, I'm Agnes. I am the Guild Master of the Guild The White Sigil.
Hello, I'm Previn. I'm GM and Exarch of the Signs of Draenor, Emerald Dream US.
Prickett Greymind, Commander Observatories of Lothar.
Yep. I am Talden Lamont, former GM of Royal Apothecary Society, Lord Apothecary.
Hi, I'm Olrock. I'm Commander of the Sons of Greymane, Emerald Dream, US.
Alright, hey, I'm Snuffit Speakeasy, KIA of For Her Tallest.
Thandy Dice, co-founder of the Mage Royal Society.
Alright, Moonfang, Alpha of Cresting Moon on Moondroppers.
Name's Coleman, forward commander of the Blackheart Company.
Hi, I am Felicia Donstar, aka Sarcasm, and I am the captain of Thoria Nori on Wormer's Accord.
Hello, I'm Professor Levi Starfinder, headmaster of the University of Stormwind, Moonguard, US.
Hi, I'm Rosine Bloodwine. I'm the matron of the Magpie's Folly, Wormer's Accord.
What's up? Sylveco Blacktongue, Master Butcher of the Tearsful Butchers.
I'm Sever, Guildmaster and the Almighty Gangster of We Grief RP.
I am Huatar. I am the chieftain of the Earthspear tribe.
Hi, I'm Druis Moonleaf. I'm commander of Sentinels of the Blade.
Alright, I am Galanthus, the sacred sage of Storm, Rain, and the Leaf.
I am Maimon, I am chief of the Shadowtest clan.
I am Myriad Hathan. I am the leader of House Hathan.
Boy, what a great looking bunch, aren't they, Turwinkle?
Indubitably.
You bet. And so we next asked these fine folks, what are their qualifications? How long have they led their guild? And have they led any other RP guilds in the past?
I have been a guild leader for almost 1 year now. We're coming up on our 1-year anniversary. No, I've not led any other guilds prior to my current guild in the sense of an official GM capacity. I have been an officer and a co-GM prior to now, but this is my first time leading a guild. That being said, I'm not new to leading RP organizations as I've run several tabletop communities online prior to this.
So I've been a guild leader for 9 months now for the guild The White Sigil. The guild was founded in September of 2009 by Marius, who is also known as Raps. I myself have been a guild leader for about 5 years, for 4 years before this on Wormrest Accord since 2009 on Hortside, and before that as an officer in a Hortside guild on the Venture Co server. So I've been doing this for a little while.
Alright, I've been a GM for the past 5 or so years, under many names, mainly Infernal. On Emerald Dream. I've led the Sunsworn, I've led Signs of Draenor, Broken Tusk, Laughing Skull, a few more I can't think off the top of my head. So I've been at this here and there for quite a bit.
I was the former GM of Royal Apothecary Society for 7 to 8 months. The current GM is Mr. Seda Gray, and the guild was founded back in 2009 by a guy named Rest. Before that, I led two other guilds for a combined time of about 2 years, so about 3 years of guild leader experience.
Okay, I'm Olrock. I'm Guildmaster and Commander of Sons of Greymane. Sons of Greymane is a fairly new guild. We're approximately 2 weeks old. We're a guild name-based guild. As far as myself, I've been a guild master for the past 8 to 9 months of a guild named Pressure. We do a lot of PvP, a lot of challenge modes, lots of role PvP. It's a pretty large group of us. I have characters scattered through a couple of other RP guilds in Emerald Dream, and I'm looking forward to interjecting myself even further in the RP community.
Alright, so I've been a guild leader for about, almost 4 years now. Started back at the very beginning of Cataclysm with For Her Tallest. For Her Tallest is the only guild I've ever led. But been at it for quite some time now. However, we did start back on the forums way back campaigning for a female trade prince, which is how our guild kind of banded together and how we banded together around Amida Silvertongue, who you can actually find in the Orgrimmar slums, which is pretty cool. So yeah, we've been at it for a while, and hey.
I have been co-GM of the Mage Royal Society for a little over a year now, and I share that honor with Alistair Thorley. Before that, I was a GM of another roleplay guild on Sisters of Elune called Clockwork, and that was for about 2.5 years.
I've been a guild leader for almost a month now, and I do have former experience leading a guild, but I have seen enough things to know what not to do when involving roleplay.
Alright, well, I've been leading guilds since early vanilla, off and on. Yeah, I've quit, come back, but I've been leading this guild for, about 8-9 months. Led a lot of guilds on Wormrest Accord since then. Most notably, I would guess, would be Smoke and Mirrors, one of the larger guilds. But yeah.
So, I've led guilds since vanilla, big and small. I've been leading Thoria Nore. I founded it in December of 2011, and then I handed off leadership to Raynell around August of 2012, and then I recently took back the helm. I've had years of guild experience, though, leading.
I have led the Magpie's Folly since June of 2013, about 8 months. Before that, I had about 2 years experience leading 2 other guilds called Enigmata and Collective. Both of them were rather small, but still.
Okay, yeah, Tears of Butcher's been around since like late 2012 or some shit. Co-GM it with Gibbets Monroe. I don't know if you know who that is. It doesn't matter. I led a leveling guild back in the day, but that doesn't matter either. Yeah.
The University of Stormwind has been around for the last 9 months, but I've been a guild master since 2006 or so.
Alright. I am Sever, from We Grief RP. The guild has only been formed for about 2 weeks. I, myself, and my friend, are the only member. I do not have any RP experience whatsoever.
Alrighty, well, as much as we love the humor that Sever brought to the discussion, that'll be the last that we see of Sever during this episode. Hopefully, Sever will grant Turwinkle and I a chance to sit down and talk with him one-on-one to find out what he's really about. He's made a guild called We Grief RP, and it's actually pretty funny, and we all had a great time with Sever that night. So again, folks, look forward to a future episode where we sit down one-on-one with Sever and discuss his his guild, We Troll RP. But with that, let's get back to the rest of the RP guild leaders.
The Earth Spirit Tribe is widely considered as one of the oldest active Horde role-playing guilds, so I have been at the helm of this guild for the past 5 years, 5.5 years, since the server first opened. Before that I was on Moonguard, and I was a part of a 3-part leadership of a guild called the League of Lordaeron on Alliance side, before that ultimately dissolved and before Wormrest Accord opened up for transfers.
I've been a guild leader for about 5 months, close to 5 months, and this is the first time I've been a guild master.
I have been a guild leader since last December, the 28th of December. That was when this guild was formed. Yes, I have led a guild before, but that one, it was called the Triforce Shard Guardians, and that was a very long time ago.
I have been a guild leader for 6 months, and technically I did with other very, very small guilds. I don't think it really counts. It's not the same.
I have been a guild leader for House Nathan for about 2 years now. This is my first official standing as a guild leader. I have sort of led a guild from the sidelines before, but this is my first time actually being a guild leader, like an official guild leader.
As you can see, folks, we have some very experienced RP leaders, as well as some folks that are brand new to leading an RP guild. As you all know, running an RP guild is a lot different than running a raid guild or a PvP guild. And so certainly they have some ups and they have some downs. And so the next question we ask is, what do you enjoy most about leading an RP guild? And this is what they had to say.
The creative diversity and making different dreams and visions come to fruition. It's very interesting to be able to collaborate with so many creative people. It's not really anything else you can experience anywhere else.
So the best thing about leading an RP guild, I think, is getting to know a bunch of really interesting people. The White Sigil is a guild themed similarly to the Red Cross or Doctors Without Borders. They're a humanitarian aid organization. And the nice thing is that some of the people in the guild are just as cool as their characters. We have people who are EMTs, they're med students, they're doctors, they're engineers. They do a lot of really cool stuff IRL, so they have a lot of really cool things to kind of bring to the table through their stories or through a lot of the campaigns that we do. So you get to meet a lot of really interesting, varied people too.
So the best part about leading an RP guild is being able to just relax and kind of enjoy yourself while leading a guild. You lead a PvP guild or a PvE guild and you're constantly doing RPGs or heroics and you're stressing out 24/7, gotta do this, gotta do that, yell at him, yell at her. With an RP guild you kind of just sit back, relax, and the worst thing you worry about is if someone's character got their feelings hurt, and it's kind of nice just to lay back and relax for once.
The best part of being a GM, in my opinion, is the enormous ego boost that comes with... No, I'm just kidding. But really, the best part of being a GM, in my experience, is it puts you in the position to provide and create RP for a whole variety of people within and without your guild, whoever may be related to your guild and whatever. And it's one of the few things that really lets you take control and create something awesome for other RPers to enjoy.
Being as I'm relatively new to the guildmaster position, as far as RP is concerned, I can't precisely speak for myself. What makes it such a great thing, I guess being an RP guildmaster, other than the comradeship and being able to play with other people that share like-minded views as far as RP are concerned. Between myself and friends of mine, we came up with the guild name idea. It's pretty unique on Emerald Dream. I mean, there's a working guild and there's a few other human guilds, but there's no guild name based RP guild. And that was kind of neat, for us all to come together for that. And I guess essentially just the only great thing about being a guild master is as maybe just being able to be the leader and essentially make sure your guild carries out or moves forward in the direction you want it to move in.
Alright, so the best thing about being GM is honestly just the people and being able to bounce ideas off each other and build these stories and flesh out our characters. And it's so social to just, I don't know, you get to really delve into your characters and get third-person's perspectives, outsiders' perspectives on it, and really make these stories come to life because you have a whole guild of people willing to work with each other's stories and to just build on it. And I mean, I just know I'm just always in awe of my co-GM, Roulette, because she has been such a great guild leader and a really great friend. And I just, you know, I mean, sorry, getting tongue-tied, but anyway, like, I never would have met all these awesome people if it weren't for her tallest and if it weren't for just being a guild leader.
Right. One of the things that I find the most rewarding as a guild leader is seeing the creativity that you can create within your guild, especially amongst new role players or people who are just generally shy. When you're able to take them in and encourage them to explore their character background, and suddenly you see them getting more involved and they start writing and start participating more, and suddenly they're right there having fun and they're helping you come up with more ideas for stories. That's one of the best and rewarding things you can get out of being a guild leader of a role-playing guild, to me.
Well, it's been said a dime a dozen times, but I'd have to say the people. You know, getting to meet new people, but more importantly, taking yourself out of the guild. A lot of guild leaders get involved with the guild, which you should, but at the same time, being able to take yourself out and let the members interact with each other, really building up that community, those relationships with each other, and then seeing those friendships last a lifetime, that's really the most rewarding thing of being a guild leader.
The best thing about leading a roleplay guild is being able to give back to the community. I'm personally, I like to think, a big member of Wormrest's Blood Elf community, and I really like that my guild, I can recruit friendly people and we can get together and we can make all these cool plots and then give those plots back to the community and get everybody else involved, and it's just, I find it to be a very fulfilling process.
Being able to abuse my peons as I see fit. No, it's actually, I'm pretty much just going to say the same thing everyone else has said. Creating these narratives with your members who oftentimes become some of your best friends. And just being able to create these beautiful storylines that can make you cry, they can make you laugh. They can make you feel all sorts of things.
I find I love three things about being running an RP guild, which is one, and the one that you've heard already a couple of times. It's cool to be able to bounce ideas off of each other. You sit there and it's like, hey, I had an idea. Oh, I didn't think of that. But two, you get to go to these big meetings like this, and you can be all like, hey, I'm just going to chill over by the snack bar and take some snacks. Three, it's real cool to be able to roll up into, some guy's hood and be all like, hey, buddy, what's up? Okay, we're going to break your legs now, rogue style, straight up.
I would say it'd have to be the sense of community and friendship that develops as a result of all these things that everyone else is talking about. Creating like a role-playing guild is basically creating a backdrop for you to create these storylines and be comfortable and able to continue with your role-playing in a way that you are able to get the most out of your own creativity and see how that works with other people. And in a successful role-playing guild, the people definitely do drive your activity and your senses of camaraderie, I believe the word is.
The best thing about leading an RP guild, basically, it's just, for me, I like organizing things. I like, being a part of things. I mean, and then meeting all these people that I have putting into the guild, and then just basically organizing all the RP that goes on. Although I don't really have any direct, I haven't really had any direct involvement in the organization of RP in the guild for a long while. But it's just leading a guild in itself for me is just amazing.
The ability to implement a vision for the guild and try to shape and form and take the guild to where I think people would enjoy role-playing.
I would have to say that by being a leader and inspiring others to follow you, I think that the greatest thing about being a leader is having followers, people who are willing to share in your ideas, people who are willing to embrace and actually host a form of empathy towards what you're going for in the main genre, the main agenda of your guild, and just to be with them and be excited about what you want to do every day with them. That's what makes being a leader so great in this guild.
Definitely the community around it. They say that people on roleplay servers are always really nice, and surprise, it's true. Everybody's very, very nice, and my guild's full of really excellent people. As opposed to being an officer, I really like being able to make the final call on things, and sometimes it's hard to get everybody straightened out and fix the problems, but it's so rewarding too. The end of the day.
Meeting the different people that you meet during RP and seeing the stories that other people around you make up and the stories you get to make up come to life, and definitely seeing people enjoying the stories that you get to be in charge of.
As you can see, there's a lot of fun being the guild leader. A lot of enjoyment you can have from leading a great group of our peers. But on the other hand, there's the dark side as well. And so the next question is, what is the hardest part about being a guild leader?
I would just say the worst thing about leading an RP guild is all the in-character drama that gets out of character somehow, some way, because someone's takes something wrong or immature. Random rogues sapping your RP, that can be a pain in the ass sometimes. And just trying to keep everyone happy and well off in the entire game. Someone always has some problem that you gotta help deal with, and you gotta figure out who's in the right, who's in the wrong. Do I do this or do I do that? And it can be stressful sometimes, but overall, eventually all gets worked out one way or the other, and hopefully for the best.
I'd probably have to say the worst thing about leading an RP guild in most cases is the mediation of your members. And what I'm saying is, you want everybody in your guild to respect RP and to respect fellow RPers, but sometimes people can be out of line. So you have to, I guess, regulate that to some degree. Also on Emerald Dream, the players, I think most players in Emerald Dream prefer to PvP and like the RP PvP aspect of it instead of like the in-character and like the character-to-character RP. So I think that plays a pretty big part as far as being a guild master, trying to help your members get a gentle medium of both, and not just too much of one.
Drama. Dealing with drama is just never fun, and as a person who suffers from a lot of social anxiety, it's just, especially when when the person who's causing the drama also brushes you the wrong way, but you have to be level-headed because you're the guild leader, even if they're pressing all your rage buttons, and you just need to take a deep breath, go, okay, what is just me personally reacting to this? What is actually happening? What is the best step to take in order to make sure everyone feels safe and comfortable within the guild, within reason? There are times when you have to make that hard decision, which is awful, which is why I love having a GM, because me and Ro will like go, okay, so this one is ticking me off a little bit much. I know you can handle it more sanely, so let's pass it off because I know you will handle this better than I can. And we tend to do that a lot because there's certain things, you know, there's always going to be things that whatever drama you might be more involved in than the other person. Even if you try not to be, you know, you're friends with these guildies, and it's going to happen. So it's never fun when drama happens because you see the guild begin to splinter and you don't want that. And so then you have to kind of pull it together before it gets out of hand.
I don't think a lot of people know how much time and effort goes into being a GM, and I think that time sink is really perhaps the main problem with being a GM. You give up a lot of your personal time and your personal roleplay to help your guild move forward, and not everybody sees that, not everybody understands that, and I think that'd probably be the main problem I ever encounter as a legitimate concern.
Alright, for me, the worst part is that it's like herding cats. Trying to get events set up, it always seems like people have different schedules, and we have a lot of career-minded adults in our guild and a lot of college students, and trying to get people together for little group events could be like pulling teeth from a rock sometimes, and it gets pretty frustrating, but it's nice when it works out. But that's probably the worst part.
Well, let's see. There's the drama, but thankfully I haven't gotten to that point because my guild's small, so I don't have any drama yet. Then there's the issue of finding the people who actually like your type of role-playing guild, because not everyone is that kind of role player. Everyone's a different type. Like you got humans, Worgen, and the ones like myself who just run around shirtless, because that's just cool.
Well, drama I can handle because of my personality. I'm more inclined to deal with it. Handling the fallout, the public, or the PR, if you will. For instance, somebody not in the guild takes an in-character action out of character. I have to play Captain PR, so my guild doesn't look like the bad guild. And sometimes it's harder than others to get other people outside of the guild to understand that the character meant no offense by it out of character. We're all just trying to have a good time, and the in character does not represent out of character. To me, that's the worst part, is trying to separate those two.
Well, I don't want to say there's a worst part because it is my personal belief that there's not really a worst part. It's harder things to do while leading. But if I had to choose something, I'd say it's probably drama, falling out, stuff like that. Organizing dates for different events, trying to be able to have as many people go to specific things as possible. It's a struggle, but I like the struggle, which is why I want to say hardest, not worst, because I enjoy doing these things. It's just... ugh.
When the peons rebel against your reign of tyranny. No, I would have to say how a lot of times you wind up being the focal point of the guild. You wind up carrying everything for it. And I'm not saying that it's inherently bad, I'm saying sometimes it gets a little overwhelming. I often joke that being the leader of a guild is a lot less like being a king and a lot more like being a janitor. Because no one appreciates you when you always wind up having to clean up everything.
Well, I think everybody actually pretty much covered a lot of my complaints, so I guess I'll reiterate the big ones that have annoyed me in the past, which more than anything is when you run into drama, but not necessarily in your own guild, because, you know, I can handle, like, if somebody's just sitting there's some problems, it's just like, hey, this is how we run things here, you know, Sorry, that's the. But when you get another guild, and it's kind of like, I'm very offended at your actions, and you're like, whoa, man, relax. And he's like, I don't have to relax about anything. It's like, I can't tell you to relax. I'm not in charge of you.
It would have to be all this stress that comes out of being a guild leader. Everyone talks about drama, and drama is something that is going to happen no matter what you do. But as a guild leader, you also have to deal with a lot of other factors regarding your guild. If it's not delegating responsibility to others, you end up having to deal with a lot of these things on your own. Recruitment, trying to get people to your events, running your own events, and then communicating all these ideas between other people, and then you have to deal with drama. And then you have to play cleanup man for everything else, and then you have to figure out how you can get your own sense of fun, your own little personal role-playing in there. So it's all these things on top of all the time management that you have to deal with that really makes being a guild master kind of hard, especially in a role-playing context.
Finding out that some of your officers might have to leave due to real-life problems, and so you have to organize things around that.
That's pretty easy. There's a lot of energy invested in things that don't work out, and it's a learning experience, and you use a lot of energy on things that don't work out, and you realize, I wish I had gone a different direction to start with, but that's just the way it is.
The pressure. You feel as if you have a great weight on your shoulders. You feel like you have a great responsibility that you need to be on there every day to make sure that you don't miss opportunities, that you can find others that are willing to share their perspectives and perhaps even join your guild. Looking for members is the most stressful thing about doing it, because when you start trying to grow as a guild, you're always trying to look for members, and managing it all can be very stressful.
I think probably when people, sometimes I get people outside the guild who think things of the guild that just aren't true, and it's very hard to deal with. Sometimes having to make the call on things that are I don't want to make the call on. Honestly, I'd rather eat a piece of cake, perhaps. Like when you have, for example, I had a role player come to the gates the other day, and they kind of surprised me. They wanted to do a big event alongside a bunch of guilds, and I was like, oh, I really, really, really need to think about this for like a solid week with my officers, and I had to decline that. Just have to make the final call, I guess.
The hardest thing I'd say is keeping everybody happy, and dealing with out-of-character issues, because out-of-character issues can lead to just the worst kind of drama, so...
Well, as you can see, there are certainly some harder sides to leading an RP guild. Well, with both the good and the bad, and those great answers in mind, let us take a look and see what advice these RP guild leaders have for someone that's wanting to start their own RP guild. Here's what they had to say.
Any advice I would give to other possible GMs would be, know you have time to do it, or know that you will have someone that can take your place if you need to take a break at some point. I know when Scions first started, I wasn't the GM. I'm still actually technically not the real GM. That's coming a little bit later in the next few days. But you just gotta know that you have the real time to do it, and know your environment. I know this seems a little weird to say, especially in WoW, but if you're on Wormrest or Moonguard, there's a lot less things you need to worry about compared to, say, Emerald Dream, where you might get hunted down and rolled out and pushed off the server. I mean, I can give plenty of examples of people who have literally been people and guilds, large guilds, that have been camped off the server by many people because you did something wrong somewhere and the server didn't like it. It's a rough town to live in, and I mean, those of us that have stuck there, we love it that way. You know, best of the best survive, but have a thick skin, get ready for anything, and make sure you have the time to deal with it all.
Running part of the problem on Wormrest Accord, Horde side, PvP guild, and as a hardcore role player myself, the best advice I can give somebody is I think that if you're going to lead people, you have to be a natural born leader. I often find that people don't understand the concepts of running people in general, and if you're not strong at that, you're not going to be able to gather up a group of players, especially on Emerald Dream, that have hardcore attitudes, hardcore ways about doing things, even roleplay. You've got to be a strong leader. You have to have a strong ship, and if you can do that and you can get other people to believe in you, that's the key. So that's my advice, to know your strengths and weaknesses. If you're a timid person, I don't advise you to try to run mega guild or guilds with stronger personalities, but there's something for everybody. But my thing is to know your strengths and weaknesses and lead and be honest with the people. If you're honest and you make promises and you keep them, you're going to have a successful guild. If you're wishy-washy, you have multiple leaders that, like co-leaders that argue with one another and people that just don't get along in general, you're going to fail. Make sure that everybody in the guild is of like mind. Talk to your people. Don't section them out. Don't let your guild break off into subsections. Make sure that everybody's invited. Even if you hate that person because they love dogs, you hate dogs, find something in common with them. It can be just simple role play, but just don't exclude people and you're pretty much going to be successful.
Get a co-GM. Honestly, it's if you don't get a co-GM, at least have an officer that you can trust. Someone who will have your back, someone who is there and will be able to take over in case you need some time off or something like that. You need someone who you'll be able to bounce ideas off and go, okay, hey, this isn't working, what should we do next? Because if it's just you, sometimes it can be a little bit too much, or if it's just you, sometimes you're not seeing the flaws that you have because you don't see someone else's strengths. So I think it's always a good idea to go into a guild with someone else. Also, find something you're passionate about. Either a lot of people I see just roll alts, which and want to start a guild, which is fine. It's just if you're not going to be dedicated to that alt, you're not going to be a great guild leader, because you need to be dedicated to that character if you're going to lead an RP guild. Because your character, as a guild leader, you're kind of going to be the center of the story until you can encourage other people to step up a bit and get their story started. Because, you know, we get a lot of new RPers, we get a lot of people who maybe haven't tried RPing before, and they need to see that confidence in character to be able to get up and start, you know, having their own characters start running. And so I think, you know, it's just important to make sure that you are totally dedicated to, or if not totally dedicated, just really passionate about the character and the idea behind the guild. And that'll last, because the only reason FHT Fortalis has lasted so long is because it's a concept which me and a lot of my guildies have fallen in love with, and it's our characters that have taken us by surprise and made us fall in love with them. So yeah, you know, have support going into a guild, and make sure that you're passionate about it.
Let's see, the advice I would give would be to know what you want out of your guild. There's some people go into this and they want to put their hands into everything and try to do it all, and it works for some guilds, but in my experience, if you start out knowing what you want, like we knew with Major Royal Society that we wanted to be an education focused guild, we came up with the background, the story, and everything just kind of flowed around that, and it makes things a lot easier to run when you've got an idea of where you want your guild to go. And that would be my advice.
As far as advice is concerned, I'm relatively new myself to this, I guess leading my own RP guild more or less. I guess the only advice I can really say is go for it. I mean, anything's really possible, and you can being around other people that are actually RP and spend a lot of time doing it in character can teach you a lot, and you can learn a lot from your surroundings, and just being overly exposed to people around you. And take what you learn from being around people and just apply it in whichever way you feel comfortable and whatever you find enjoyable. And find other people like you that enjoy doing what you do as far as RP is concerned. And
Alright, let's see. Well, start off, do not be shy. You won't really proceed anywhere if you are shy. Like, if you're afraid to roleplay with people in general, just because of shyness, you can't really go far with that, because if you're afraid to even speak to someone and you're leading an RP guild, you're not really going to grow much, because that's just how it is. You kind of need to come out. It's a game. We're all here equally.
The obvious answer is don't be timid. You know, you got to talk to people. You got to approach people. You got to be a leader. You got to know you got to know what you're doing. You got to know who to talk to. But at least on the server Wormrest Accord and on Horde side, trade chat plays a very important role in the community of Wormrest Accord Horde side. I can't speak for Alliance, obviously. I myself put my foot in the door in trade continuously, and it may not get the guild noticed, but it gets members of the guild noticed, and that also that ends up coinciding with the guild. It gets you noticed. Trade chat, friends, more important than anything else, really. Get your foot in the door. There's somebody you know that has clout, that knows a lot of people, that runs events that are public regularly. Talk to them and see if they can do something to help you. Scratch your back, they scratch yours, and that's really how you get started.
Know what you want to do, plan, and don't be shy. Those are literally the top 3 things I can think of. Get the word for your guild out there, post on the forums, post in general, and trade. You can post on trade. I don't recommend it, but you can do that. Even post on the Wormrest Facebook group if you need to. Just get the word out of your guild. Know what you want to do for it. Don't be shy to anybody that tries to talk to you, because that will literally be your downfall. If you can't talk, I don't know what to tell you. And you have to have a strong backbone, put your foot down. You have to know how to be a boss, basically.
Well, first of all, you have to be absolutely dedicated. This guild is your baby. You have to give it basically the same amount of time as you would a newborn infant, like, of course, barring like real life and stuff. You have to just dedicate your game time almost completely to it, and everything else you want almost comes second. And also, once you do get started, you should be friends with everyone, but don't be afraid to lay down the law. Don't let your members walk all over you, because they will. A lot of times people will use that against you, and they will destroy your guild from the inside out.
Let's see. A lot of people have talked about the importance of networking, and I'd say, just like in real life, yes. Get involved, communicate with people, because while you want a strong core and you want your guild to be able to, survive on its own, you will eventually just turn into, a bunch of recluses. I'm sure everybody's seen a guild, here or there, kind of like that, and it's like, oh, why don't those guys ever socialize? And, 2, as the guy speaking for, the Undead Meatpackers Guild, careful how niche you get.
I would say there's 3 things that you need to know. Know what you want. You have to enjoy what you're trying to do with your guild. It's not just a matter of just starting a guild and then deciding what you want to do with it later. You have to know what you're going for as you go along, because if you don't enjoy where your guild is going, you aren't going to put in the work to make that guild grow and be better or enjoyable. And the second thing is to know that there is going to be a ton of work that that goes along with creating a guild, building it. I mean, there's recruitment, there's trying to get your name out, there's trying to keep your guild stable enough for it to grow, and then there's also all the other things that go with trying to maintain your guild. And the third thing is to know your limits. I mean, with all the work that you're going to put in, you may burn yourself out if you're trying to do too much. As someone else suggested, find officers, find people who you can rely on. You're building a community here from which all of you are going to prosper from. So you need to delegate and share responsibility at some point if you're going to grow beyond a small niche or small corner of the role-playing community.
You can't do it all, and you have to have a good support crew, and you have to accept that you can't do it all. I've seen a lot of GMs that have the best of intentions, brilliant ideas, and they are legitimate great people, but because they can't get that support structure going where they get people that are in place that can really help them grow and make the visions and stories and adventure a reality, they just kind of falter as a result. So get that support structure and don't try and do it all yourself.
Never be discouraged whenever your guild goes inactive. Really, the only thing that you can do at that point, like if you have invested so much time into it and you just don't want to give up on it, don't ever be discouraged if you don't have any people online at all times during the day. Just keep at it, keep up your recruitment, do whatever you can to get yourself out there, make yourself involved in whatever events you can. But all in all, like I said, just don't be discouraged.
Make sure you love what it is that you're going to do. So you should love the lore behind the race that you're going to start. Be aware of the classes that race represents. Because the love for that is what's going to carry you through. It's going to give you the energy to pursue your vision and to put up with the frustrations. And it's also going to guide you in finding the people who share that with you, who are going to help you along the way.
I would first jot down your ideas and the genre that you want to build it around. For instance, Storm, Rain, and the Leaf is built around the essence of rehabilitation and healing. Pretty much just a clinic or a haven for people to come to find sanctitude. So my advice is first formulate your ideas, jot point, bullet point, anything that you can think of to make it simple to you, to find out what are the main points of your guild, what are the goals, is it light, is it adventurous, any adjectives that could simply, as in simplify and dull down the meaning of your guild. Make it as simple as possible, an idea, and then go on from that.
Oh, wow. This is one thing I don't have too much advice about, because when I took over, it was already a very well-structured guild. Arkner did wonderful things with it, and the community was already really great. But I suppose it would be figure out where you want to go with the guild. Have a good vision, pick out good people for the guild. Don't worry about having the most numbers. I see this as a pitfall that a lot of new guild leaders would do. I remember a friend of mine doing it especially. He started a new guild and he was so proud of his vision. He was going to start an all-Pandaren guild, and he just didn't get the numbers that he wanted in the first 2 weeks because it's his first 2 weeks, and it's to be expected. But then he allowed everybody in his guild, and there was a couple of members that just, that didn't really want to be on a roleplay guild. They came because they thought it would be funny to make fun of role players. And just, get good people in your guild, have a good focus and stick to it. Just really keep to it, even if it's disheartening, perhaps.
Oh, that's a good one. I'd say gain a lot of patience if you don't already have some, because you're going to need it. And be willing to listen not only to your officers, but to every guild member that comes into your guild. Because they're not here for you, you are there for them.
Well, some great advice from some great RP guild leaders. And it has been a lot of fun talking with all of the guild leaders on the ups and downs, the ins and outs of running an RP guild. And so let's give them a nice thank you, Turwinkle.
Allow me to express my deepest thanks.
Oh, that was a good one. And let us ask you folks, if you like this video, to hit that like button. If you'd like to comment on this episode or on any of our previous episodes, please do so below. Let us know what you liked and let us know what you didn't. And finally, if you'd like to subscribe, well, we would love to have you, so subscribe today. Well, Turwinkle, an excellent job. They were excellent questions to a fun interview tonight. And Turwinkle, we will see you next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Turwinkle. Bye-bye.